the Laxbox podcast.
It will be backlinked. I got a few
I
backlinks.
appreciate you,
I'm gonna put
appreciate
it.
you. Particular episode is semi-regional disappointments, but well, that's again another story. We
Well,
still have an opportunity to win our division,
yeah,
to be back-to-back champions with a three
seven.
wins and more losses. But if we go through and win the games we're supposed to win, build the confidence up early, get in the field and show that and do that thing the way we're supposed to do it, we're going to be everything we need to be, and our confidence will grow. Confidence comes from repetition. So
Yeah,
that's where we are this season. And the players I have are great. They're awesome players, but we were overconfident going into the season. So
reality check.
we're dealing with reality, and the
Yeah,
expectation is that we're going to get over the hump.
yeah.
So
Let me butt in here, Major, because we're gonna have to transition. We got about another 15 minutes. I know you have a appointment. A couple key things you mentioned about the social media generation and things like that. Brian Simmons, that NFL agent I spoke about a minute ago, he said this is one of the most profound things I've heard is that Instagram and Twitter are a lot, not making a blanket statement, but a lot of this younger generation's parents, and see even some of my generation, probably some of yours too. That's their parents. That's who they go to for advice.
like this,
The
man.
fear of failure people don't understand is that you learn through failure, or at least you're supposed to. The only time you actually fail is when you give up. If you take that L and just like, oh well, this ain't for me, and you just go back to mediocre or go back to what you good, what you know. That's the fear of
Sometimes you win
failure.
and sometimes you learn.
Yeah, or you're supposed to win and learn. That's life. I mean, we can't. I fail every day, and I still am him. Like, it's not going to knock my confidence. And then that's my final piece about confidence is that I view confidence different than ego because people might say I have a big ego, but ego is superficial to me. Like, my persona of how I present my day to day. I have to present like an extrovert because I work a lot of front facing corporate jobs. So I have to people all day. I'm literally a INTJ. I'm an introvert. I literally just like to stay to myself. Once I, get out the office, as Smitty says, he's one of the leaders that helped develop me at a previous employer. Take that mask off. 501 is taco time. So you get that more, that's just, we got good energy. So, it's something that's a growing pain and, reality check. But, being the leader that you are, the coach that you are, I'm sure that you're going to have some insightful words for them, whether they win the division or not, just on how to course correct for the next season. And hopefully they're receptive to it. Um, Now, I did mention that we have a quick transition. We have about another 15, 20 minutes. We can get into Pistons down 1-2 to your Knicks. Um, and, they have game 4 coming up at Little Caesars, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Cade Cunningham Cade's one of my favorite players. I'm grew up a huge fan of basketball. I found it boring over the last few years. Still keep up with my Pistons, Bulls, Lakers a little bit, but Cade Cunningham has got a lot of high praise recently. I just found out, I think either late last night or early this morning, probably both, that he just joined LeBron James and Russell Westbrook as the only players to fill every column on the stat sheet in a playoff game. So three active players, folks, to fill every column on the stat sheet in a playoff game. He did that his third playoff game. They did lose by 2 points um, to the Knicks. What was that, Thursday, I think? Um,
Mhm.
I think after game 2, Isaiah Thomas, original IT from Bad Boy Days, praised, Cade and how he, kind of had a quiet first game in the playoffs. His first playoff appearance, game 2, he turned it around, got the dub for the team. And, Isaiah Thomas mentioned when they say Cade defers, and this goes back to leadership and people understanding, um, confidence and, knowing yourself, knowing your skill set. When they say Cade defers to others, it's not saying that he's giving somebody else the reins to take over the game because he can't handle it. Isaiah put in is very profound and very accurate. Cade knows himself. He knows his skill set. If Tobias Harris, who I want to also give some props to because he's one of the most underrated players and one of the sure signs of a team, being successful.
Well, you got to remember that's
They,
the same criticism they gave LeBron.
Wait, hold on, wait. Though. It's a little different. And I want to get into that. Well, actually, no, I don't want to get into LeBron because this isn't about LeBron. He's not in this game today. But when they say, Cade defers, and you're right. But when they say Cade defers, if Tobias Harris is a better 3-point shooter, he's open for a spot out three in the corner, to get this go ahead bucket. Cade drives and kicks it out. That gets them the game. Well, that assist still counts on the stat sheet that helps you helps you win the game. So, right now, I liked hearing that because Cade has a lot of quiet poise, uh, um, which I appreciate. He takes accountability, things like that, and so I'm excited because Pistons finally bent that corner. Whoa, I couldn't help it. The Angelo Ball people, um, yeah. So nothing major, literally nothing. Come on, man.
Now, because we're looking at it from two different sides. You're a
I
Pistons
no,
fan.
but
I'm a Knicks
I just
fan.
dropped like a great little
Man, the Ball
folks.
brothers don't register.
I don't
I'm
blame you.
more that dad's generation, so
You don't have
it's
to
cool.
start. You don't have to start swearing, sir. There's
It's
no
cool.
need for.
It's but it's we're looking at it from two different sides. I mean, the youth of the Pistons has paid off. I mean, they needed somebody, and I go back to
They got their
uh,
first playoff win in 17 years. By the way, that was the other stat I forgot to drop. So no, yeah,
congratulations,
yeah, yeah. 2008,
congratulations.
2008.
I mean, the Knicks and the Pistons are well, I don't say they're not evenly matched, but they're in the same boat. They've been struggling. They try to bring in some youth and things are going on. So this is a very interesting. I mean, it's interesting for a lot of reasons. I mean, I'm a Knicks fan in Detroit. All of my young folks are,
My closest.
diehard Knicks fans. I mean, diehard Pistons fans. So I've always talked about it. And it's another
Right.
opportunity for Knicks, New York and Detroit in the playoffs. We didn't get it in the NFL, but we did have it in Major League Baseball. The Yankees, knocked off the Tigers in their series. Game seven. I think this series is going to go to game seven, and it's going to be great to see game seven in the Garden. And hopefully, it's going to be a day where I can kind of get around some folks, and we can, have a good time, talk some mess. But it's good to see that development. But it goes back to what I was saying about the team culture and finding out who we are. Everybody's finding their identity. That youth that is on both teams has a good leader. Cade is a good leader. I mean, and leadership is everybody wants that killer instinct and just one person to go do it all. Everybody can't be that one person. And you have to make adjustments. You can make adjustments and still win. That's what I'm dealing with on my lacrosse team. And the the Knicks and the Pistons have grown through that to find out who they are. Monty Williams as the coach wasn't the best fit,
He
but
didn't
they
want to be there.
found what that's the challenge. That's
They
part of
paid
it.
that man $72 million to
Listen,
buy his services. He didn't want to be there. He
there
didn't.
I don't want to coach boys lacrosse, but you pay me 50,000, call me
I'm gonna
coach.
do my damn job. But I mean, at the same time, they paid him 70. All right.
So Monty was in a situation where he didn't want to be there, and then he had a young team that he had to develop. So those two things didn't mix. That team, for the nucleus of that team is still together, and they're
Well,
getting better. They're learning each other, and the result is, the first playoff run and the
it
first
was.
playoff win in 17 years.
Yeah, yeah. Let me. This is me being a passionate Pistons fan. It's always been a front office and management problem in Detroit, just across the board. I don't care if it's sports or just how they run the city. I mean, I can say Michigan on a broader term in most cases, 'cause we're trying to avoid blanket statements. I like Troy Weaver. I like what he was doing. Just the pieces weren't cohesive. I personally would have signed Udoka. I think we mentioned this last year. They didn't sign Udoka. Now Houston's the number two seed in the West. Um, but at the same time, it worked out. You still got Cade. And what I want to shout out Tobias Harris for, because now he's back in Detroit. I don't. Philly's not in the playoffs, are they? I don't think Philly's in the playoffs.
They're
I haven't paid that
struggling
much
bad.
attention. This, peep this. Harden leaves. You're still a playoff team. Ben Simmons, Benjamin Simmons, folks. I don't think I haven't seen him since the Hawks show what an ego looks like. The guy couldn't hit space if he jumped through the stratosphere. Um, but Ben Simmons gone, Harden gone. You get PG, you got Maxey and Embiid, but you're not in the playoffs. Tobias Harris now back with the Pistons, and they're in the playoffs. That just goes to show, being reliable, knowing yourself, and just, doing the work. You know what I'm saying? Tobias Harris plays his game. He's pretty much the number two option on the team, or two or three, you know what I'm saying? But he's a solid veteran that knows the team, or at least the city and the culture, and he brings a playoff experience to that team. So now they're in the playoffs. They won their first playoff game. They're probably gonna go to game 7. I'm not even gonna try to predict it because, like you, I'm excited. I kind of want to be in the city, or at least wherever you're gonna be, so we can, watch it, chop it up, get some pizza or whatever. But at the end of the day, just knowing yourself, being reliable. I wouldn't say Tobias Harris is that LeBron James or Kobe Bryant type where you want to sign him because of the killer instinct he has. He's just damn reliable. At the end of the
Yeah,
day,
again, I don't
he's
think that one person exists in Detroit.
well. I just don't. It's a different game. It's a different mindset. They don't play defense anymore. I literally talked to Smitty about this. They don't play defense in the NBA anymore. It's literally a 3-and-D league. Well, they say 3-and-D. 4-point shots and fast breaks and 175 points a game. It's just that's literally the game. People don't want to see defense. They don't want to see stop it and
Yeah, they
you know
want to sell tickets, but
yeah, people want to see Steph Curry, and I love Steph. Steph's one of my other favorite players. K, Steph, Joker. But end of the day, nobody's really watching for, somebody, a Bruce Bowen type. I bet most people don't even know who Bruce Bowen is. Look him up. Sean Marion, Andre Karolinko, nobody's looking for those guys to lock you up like they did in the early 2000s and things. So just something I'm, very cognizant of is that the game isn't as competitive. Um, it might be more marketable, but somebody like me from the late 1900s, I don't find it as entertaining, but I am excited about some of the developments. So, for the Pistons, got your first win. I'm very much the type, and this goes back to something my mother taught me when we won a championship in '04 against my Lakers, ironically. Never go for the silver. You always got to go for the gold. If you in the big dance, you got to shoot your shot, call your number, whatever you want. Like, never go for number 2. And I tell people day in and day out, I'm never number 2. I'm always going to be that. I'm always my first option. So, for me, seeing the Pistons, go into Game 7 to win. I don't care what your roster look like. I don't care who you play in the semifinals, or the conference finals, or the NBA finals. You go in and win. And then if you lose, well, where did y'all slip up? You know what I'm saying? That kind of goes back to what you're saying about your lacrosse team. You got a chance, go for it to win your division back to back. If y'all don't get you win the championship, or you don't win the division, well, let's go back, look over the film, and how are you gonna, course correct and adjust? So like, yeah, like you said, everybody doesn't have the killer instinct in them. You know, um, that Clifton strength, and I'll probably backlink what those are for some people. Um, my command basically means I just have assertiveness, authority. I take charge. I have natural charisma. People, that type of thing. Just I'm an innate leader. That's something I can't change. I literally walk in a room, heads turn, blah blah, stuff like that. It is more annoying than I would like, because some days I really don't feel like being bothered. But um, just having that type of ownership of my gifts allows me to use them and maximize them, which is why we do the podcast. So, um, that's just my mindset. You mentioned LeBron. I literally don't want to give LeBron any more energy. He's making his money anyway, and he's not playing in this game. What you said was absolutely correct, but LeBron is more of a media darling problem. And I'm going to talk about that a
oh,
little bit more.
I see. You get caught up in all the personality. I don't do it. They play a role on the team and impact the culture and the championship culture of that team. Everything is a championship culture, whether you're winning the trophy or not. And that how you get in and what you bring, and that piece I couldn't care less. I mean, LeBron is doing what he's doing. It's not going. It doesn't affect me either way. So
4-6 in
The
finals.
Lakers surprisingly are doing a lot better than I expected they would. But this game, and the only reason I know, and I'm even involved in this game, is because it's the Knicks and the Pistons, and it's right here. I had to research. I knew the Knicks won the game because I was watching and like I was running around. I was like, oh snap! I forgot the game was on. I caught the last 2 minutes, and then it wasn't even on TV. It's like I didn't. Did I? It's like did I miss it? Was it not on? Because I was watching the last few minutes on my phone with the live updates, and I was trying to find it on my TV at home and couldn't. It's like is the cable off or something? Where are my Knicks?
I know.
Why can't I see my
I'm
Knicks?
like, huh?
Why can't I see the Knicks play the Pistons in Michigan? But whatever reason, maybe I had the wrong guide
I
up or
think,
whatever.
I think they
The
on
only reason
ABC
I'm
Mix.
involved is because it's the Knicks and the Pistons. If it
They
was
on
the Knicks
ABC.
and anywhere
I think.
else, I'd watch, but it's the Knicks and Pistons, so I get to talk some mess and hang out just like anywhere else. Every whatever game I'm rooting for conversation and interaction. I could if the Knicks lose, okay, I'll take the
Competition.
lumps that I get, but I'm just into it because I know I can connect with some people, on a personal level and have a good time. So
Facts.
if the Pistons, progress, you know, I'll root for them. I'll get talked about as being a band weather fan. I don't care, but it's about connection and how you make that stuff work. And these two young teams, have gotten over the hump. The Knicks have been in the playoffs in the last few seasons. They have to get out of the first round. The Pistons, the Pistons won the season, and I know you always got to always number one, never number two. But the Knicks have more pressure on them to get to the second round than the Pistons do.
I agree with that. My mindset is always that you aim high, though. Like you said, you can't settle for mediocrity. Like you can't tell your lacrosse team, all right, let's just shoot for the first round. Because then once you get to the first round, it's like you saying, let's just pull off the brakes if we go to the second, or pull off our foot off the gas. Like my mind is, you shoot for the stars and
I
wherever
mean, you
you
play to
land.
the whistle.
Yeah,
You play to the end of the fourth quarter.
yeah.
We've lost games
But
and
my,
where
but
we
my, my,
haven't
but,
scored in the fourth period because we take it.
but
And just like your 8-year old said, the other team remember there's still a game
that
going on.
that's
So
Yeah, that's the complacency thing though. Like, and that's, the issue I had when I was in Detroit, with people, and I would say like, you can't internalize that, oh, the lion's a curse type, using the lions as an example. You can't internalize that because that becomes your narrative. Then you think like it's always an excuse, what I'm saying? Like, oh, the refs cheated us. Well, don't give them a reason to cheat. Like if you up, 6 touchdowns, they can't call a pass interference that's gonna cost you the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just a arbitrary number. But my mindset is just always you shoot for the stars wherever you land. That make you make that your little, bookmark, your benchmark, whatever. Try it again. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you measure your child against the. I don't even know if they still do this. They probably got an app for it, but oh, you mark it on the wall. This is where you were when you were 9, going into kindergarten or whatever. All right, 9 going to kindergarten. This is where you were 9 when you're going to the 4th grade. I can't mad people yet. I'm getting my MBA. I'm working on it Sunday. Um, Day the Lord made. Anyway, but like what I'm saying, like this is where you were 9 going into 4th grade versus 5 going into kindergarten. So um, that's just kind of my mindset. It's just shoot for the stars. Again, it's competition to me. I love seeing some honest to goodness competition. Keep it clean. Try to keep tempers in check. I know I made a joke with a coworker about, or a few people during the Michigan versus Ohio State game last year, where we planted the flag on their field and everything, and then it turned into a tussle. That was classless, but planting the flag, on enemy turf, to me, that's just competition. That's, we got a rivalry. I'm, making sure that you remember,
you
we
got to
came and won
protect
in
the
your house. Like,
house. You got
huh?
to protect the house.
Well, I mean, I understand
And
protect,
that's
but
part
it's,
of
it's
that.
the play.
That's part of the change in the generation too. We don't really have that. Everybody wants to be nice. Everybody
I'm
wants
not
to be
saying being nice.
so nice.
I'm not saying
Kind, be kind, but nice doesn't matter. I don't care if you're nice to me.
I'm
No,
not saying
I really don't care if you're kind to me either. Because if we're competing, I'm coming to punch you in the face.
I'm
And
spitting in your
that
face right now. I'm literally planting my flag in your house. That's spitting in somebody's face. I'm
nah,
doing that,
but you
but you
not.
ain't
But
got to.
so you have a you. you're gonna
Which
you're gonna come in, you're gonna plan it, you're gonna know that maybe that's not a good idea because I'm about to put it on you. I'm about to
I
put
mean,
everything that you think you
it
had on
you
you,
gotta have
and I'm gonna beat
some
you with
level of
your flag.
decorum. You gotta have some level of decorum because it reflected badly naturally to some other people. But at the same time, you're right, protect your house, but you gotta do it in a way that's not gonna reflect badly on the program, or at least some individuals, because some individuals get a little more crap than the other individuals, depending on who's looking at
And and it
the
all
program.
spins out. So it's a matter of consistency.
Yeah, and
And
so my thing
it's
is, it,
there's a difference. I mean, it's just so many changes going on with who can do what, decorum, respect, kindness. I mean, it's
that's
just so much that you just
that's
have
the
to be
world, though.
able to
That's
consistently be who you need to be. So you know, wait a minute, no, I can't go in there and act like that. I know for now I have to go in there and do my best, but I can't go in there. I don't have. I'm not. You know, I'm not that
going in
good
doing
or
a
that
BS
bad.
crush. After
I'm not the
before
big
we,
bad wolf, but I
I'm
will huff
sorry.
and puff and blow your house down. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
There's a
sorry to hear
way
you
to
don't
get
have the
to that,
confidence in yourself. I'm so no, I'm messing with you. But no,
dog.
I mean, the world is constantly evolving, and we do kind of need to wrap. I know you got somewhere you got to be 10:30. But we can chop it about that next episode. But the world's constantly evolving. I think that's something people need to understand. It's just you got to evolve with the times. Um, Otherwise, you're decaying. That's literally something I've been learning over the last few years. Is if you're not evolving, this is kind of what I get at with people. Why I had to change my environment because I felt I couldn't keep making myself small so other people can be comfortable because I always aspire for greatness. So I had to be around other people that were more receptive and were going to help me grow. But it is a matter of like you gotta once you get to certain plateaus and certain levels, what you did before might not necessarily get you to that next level. Know your strengths, you know how to transfer them. I guess it's all kind of coming full circle because a lot of people want things to stay the same. That's just not it's not the law of the universe.
If you stop, you're gonna get run over.
Yeah. So that's the thing, you can either get down and lay down or you can get up and F some stuff up. But thank you, Major. I don't want to hold you up, man. We're having Butler in the bathrobe today. He's going to get
I think this is gonna be new podcast attire right here, man. This is kind of comfortable. You know,
must be
I'm getting.
nice, man. I'm literally telling people I moonlight as a phone sex operator because someone told me you should be
I
a
don't
phone
know
sex
about all
operator.
that. You know, the
It was
bathrobe
literally
is
a joke
just. This is
with the
just
podcast.
relaxation and leisure.
Well,
There's something under this bathrobe, believe me.
well, it's something under mine too. But at the end of the day, we can check the numbers. We do have a lot of female viewers and listeners, so we must be doing something right. But again, folks, thank you. The kitchen is always open. As you can see, he's in the bathrobe like Ben Rames and Baby Boy. I'm just dropping that suave key sweat type voice first thing in the morning. Yeah, I gotta give him out on a high note. Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments and backlinking Major's podcast Manifest One LX Pod in the comments and description. Uh, Final thoughts, anyone? Let us know in the comments if you have any uh, uh, your thoughts on lacrosse or leadership, thoughts on the Knicks versus the Pistons. Please drop them. There's a Knicks fan in this building that I would love to see his face if the Pistons get the win today. So,
Listen, man, don't go down 3-1. It's gonna be hard.
oh, absolutely not. Well, if Doc Rivers was the coach of the Knicks, I wouldn't be worried then.
Doc Rivers ain't
Hey,
coaching
but
this,
thanks
so
again
we
for
gonna
everyone
put him in the
stopping
same
by,
boat we
folks.
put